Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs?
Yeah.
Love it. Week 3 here. Wow. Did my voice, was that a voice crack in a deep voice?
Maybe it was.
That's weird. Week 3 is here.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Dude,
so
what?
excited. I feel like I skipped
Week
an entire
3.
week of football on Sunday.
Yeah, I know. I'm missing out.
And it's like it was like we got to taste NFL football for 1 week and then on a Sunday and then never mind.
And then next week it's going to be almost a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah, and you know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about the Patriots playing at 1 o'clock.
You like the Pats at 1 o'clock?
I like the Pats at 1 o'clock because I like to get my stress done early.
I'm the total. I love the Pats in prime time. Do you know why?
I'd rather, because I know if they play at 1 o'clock, they'll win.
But that's probably true. What do we have? Kirk Cousins? What's going on?
yeah. Mac Jones in primetime.
I like watching NFL games. So when the Patriots are on, I don't really watch as much NFL. So when they're on at primetime, it's perfect because I get to watch my Sunday ticket, my red zone.
It's just a pain in the rims because it's like it takes up like so much. I will say when they play at night, I can listen to as much post game as I want because there's no other football on. But if they play at 1, post game is like after all the games are over deal.
Yeah, the next day or that night.
Yeah, or that night. But anyway, welcome on into the show. We got a Thursday night preview for the start of week 3 for this week. This game, I think when they scheduled it, they were probably like, this is going to be great. This is going to be a great
could be
game.
At least competitive.
Yeah, it's going to be competitive. You know, Danny Dimes is going to be here. No, it's not competitive. So we're going to break down that matchup. We'll give you our picks for the game at the end of the episode and kind of talk you through who we would play this week and who we would sit this week and give you expectations for guys that maybe you should be starting anyway in this game. But before we do, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, please leave a review. Share this pod with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you may have. So, the matchup we have this week is between the New York Football Giants and the San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa.
49ers have been very good to start the year. I will say, I don't know if the Rams are better or the 49ers are not as good as we think they are, but the Rams did okay yesterday.
I think the Rams are better.
The 49ers ran away with the game at the end. Like, the field goal made it look like a 7-point game. I don't know why they got in a field goal range and they kicked a field goal with 4 seconds left. So I was like, what are you guys doing? You're just trying to add points to make it look better?
It's for the spread.
It's for the spread. So anyway, the 49ers kicked the field goal at the end of the game to make it, what is it, 23-30 or something like that?
You mean the Rams? Did the Rams kick the field goal?
The Rams kicked the field goal with 40 seconds left. Yeah. To make it a 7-point game. It was a 10-point game going into that final drive. So in the fourth quarter, it was kind of over. But
they kept it close.
They kept it close for a majority of the game. The offense didn't suck. So that was interesting. But this should be, I hope it's an interesting game.
Me too, but it's in San Francisco too.
Yeah, this is going to be a bloodbath, I think. The over-under is 48 points. What do you got? What do you got for the over-under?
I'm going under. 48?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going under.
I'm going under. Yeah, I'll take the under too. I had a 15-pick parlay on Sunday.
Why?
I don't know. I keep.
You will never win with a parlay that's in the double digits.
Yeah, but
I don't know why.
So I was trying to pick every game perfectly on the week because if I hit one, I win $15,000 off $10. So just 1 week.
You know how hard that is?
Yes.
Though with the randomness of the NFL, do like your best 3 games, and you could still get a really good.
No, I see. I want $15,000.
Or you could bet 10 do three of your best games, and win like $150.
That's true. But I will bet the under in this game. I will bet the under.
Yeah, I probably will too.
Okay, so let's break down the Giants first. They're on the road. This is a very interesting situation. So I do want to take. I mean, obviously got Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. He had 28. What was it? 31 points this week. Was that right? 31? Yeah, 31 points.
Yeah.
He had 31 points this week against the Arizona Cardinals. So obviously you anticipate and expect that to be a good thing. But they have a much tougher matchup this week. San Francisco has given up a total of through weeks 1 and 2, 5 points to the quarterback position.
What was it? 5 points?
Yeah.
Did you just say 5 points?
5 points. A lot of teams actually have given up 5 points. So some really terrible matchups.
What? How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Wait. San Francisco's giving up 5 points.
Let me reload this.
That can't be right. Stafford had 15.
Yeah, but what did they do week 1?
Pickett. I mean, he didn't have -5 points. He had 11. Yeah, that can't be right. 5 points.
Fantasy pros, you're failing me.
Yeah, dude. Are you reading it wrong? Is it like 5 something?
No, I'm not reading this wrong at all. These numbers are whack.
Oh.
I'm kind of mad right now. I wanted to use this information, but I guess not.
That ain't accurate.
San Francisco is good at defense, though.
They are good at defense. You don't need numbers for that.
I don't need the numbers. San Francisco is good at defense. The last time Daniel Jones played a good defense, he kind of didn't do anything. So,
like week 1.
I'd like to say that there's rushing upside in this game. It's Thursday night, so typically everyone doesn't play as well. So Daniel Jones might be able to take advantage of that. But there's other issues involved in this football game that we'll get to in a second. If they don't have a run game, I don't know how much they can put on Daniel Jones' shoulders at this point. So right. I don't anticipate this being a good game for Daniel Jones, and because he's like a start-sit kind of player, I would say sit him this week. But I don't know what you want to do, Rick.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him either. I will say this could be a sneaky like trap sort of game where everybody hates Daniel Jones and he's going to be bottom of everybody's rankings. He's not going to be like a top 15 ranked quarterback. He's going to be everybody's favorite sit. And he could have a sneaky okay game just on volume because without Barkley, they might throw the ball like 40 times. Mm-hmm. And then with his rushing as well, like he could end up having an okay fantasy game just off volume. But I still wouldn't start him against San Francisco on Thursday night with no Saquon. I'm out. Yeah, too much road. Yeah, and I don't like any of that. So.
All right, at the running back position, Barkley is expected to be out for this game most likely. So
he's supposed to be out. Right now, the report is 3 weeks.
Yeah, so he's
probably got no shot.
He's got no shot because it's so far away till the next game. Like, there's a chance maybe in like week 4 he can come back, but at this point it doesn't. I don't think it's going to happen. So, like for me, Saquon obviously being out. You have Matt Breida, Eric Gray. Everyone's going to go after Breida. Probably on the waiver wire.
Oh.
And we didn't want him. Right?
You're going to have to carry this show for about 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'll talk about Eric Gray. So, I mean, I would look at Matt Breida. Potentially, he's not an option for this game. San Francisco has one of the toughest run defenses in the league. They did give up 28 points this week to Kyren Williams. That was more or less the receiving work that he got in the passing game and not necessarily the rushing work that he got. So, like, Breida's not going to step into a role where he gets 10 targets, or he's not going to step into a role where he gets like 25. It's just not going to happen. And then any other guy that, like, I don't even know who they're going to have active for this game as the third running back. It might be Eric Gray. It might be Gary Brightwell, but either one, it's not worth it. So the only guy that you could consider for this line would be Matt Breida, but I would sit Matt Breida for this matchup if you pick him up this week. And don't play him against San Fran on Thursday night because that would be a fool's errand. At the wide receiver position, it was funny because I was breaking down some of these numbers from this past week on snap percentages, and I wanted to give you the snap percentages, the wide receiver position for just the full season so far for the New York Giants, because it is the snap percentages and the target shares among the players is disgusting. I'll actually give you this most recent week's game. The Giants snap percentages: Darius Slayton 75%, Isaiah Hodgins 68%, Paris Campbell 65%, Jalen Hyatt 27%, and Sterling Shepard had 15%. This past game that we had between the Giants and who did they play this week? The Giants and the Cardinals. This was the split at the position in terms of targets. Hodgins had 5 receptions. Hyatt had 2 receptions. Slayton had 6 receptions. Paris Campbell had 6 receptions. And Sterling Shepard had 1. So 5 different guys got targets. Slayton and Paris Campbell got 6. Hodgins got the third most. So it's just all over the place at the wide receiver position. And I know some of these guys are owned in leagues. Like, I would say Paris Campbell's probably on some people's teams. Darius Slayton might be. And then I know there's an Isaiah Hodgins crowd, but the only guy that I really see like
sock.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for coming back, dude.
Yeah, just so you know, I have a bloody nose, so that's why.
Oh, see, hey, pull it together. Anyway, yeah. So it's all terrible, and I wouldn't start a single guy in this game. And I don't like. I'm just trying to think. Like, do you know of anybody that has these guys?
No, I think there's a little bit of an Isaiah Hodges crowd out there, and some people like Hyatt because he's a rookie, but none of these guys are worth starting on a week-to-week basis, because you don't really know who it's going to be, and then especially in a tough matchup, it could be none of them. So the odds of it being like multiple guys is very slim. Someone putting up a decent game, so I would be out on pretty much every Giants receiver. And I'm feeling pretty good about that.
That's a great way of putting it. Suck, and suck.
Yeah. They all suck.
At the tight end position, we do have Darren Waller, and he's been getting a decent target share, so I think I would run him in this game, but I don't expect great things. I don't think he's going to go off.
Waller's the only guy that I think you probably have to start.
Yeah.
Because you drafted him to be your starting tight end, and he's probably top. I mean, he's tight end 4 on the year. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how long that lasts with his injury history as well. But he was somebody that going into the year was hyped up a lot, and so far hasn't been bad. So he's got to be a must start. But I agree, I'm not really expecting huge things out of him. But I would still expect like 10 points from him, just because he's probably going to be the most targeted guy. And without Barkley, like, he is going to be their best playmaker, I guess. So I could see them trying to get him involved, but I don't expect any big game against that 49ers defense.
Yeah. So it sounds like everyone against the 49ers would be a sit this week.
Yeah, pretty much. Waller's the only guy that I'd start.
Yeah, Waller's the only guy that I would start to. You might get a surprise game out of Daniel Jones, like we said, but it's it would be tough for me to look at him and be like, oh yeah, start him. All right, let's talk about the 49ers. They obviously have started the season 2-0, and they've looked like them and the Dallas Cowboys have looked like the 2 best teams in the league. So, obviously it's only 2 weeks into the season, but 49ers are rolling. And they are running the ball a lot right now. Their pass to run ratio is 48-51. So they run the ball more than they pass it, which is, what you would expect when you have Christian McCaffrey as your running back. And
Brock Purdy as your quarterback.
And Brock Purdy as your quarterback. But let's start with the quarterback position. We do have Brock Purdy, who has been mid in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms for fantasy football so far on the season. I just want to find where he is. He is the quarterback 17. He had 16 week 1, 14 week 2, 31 total on the season. So he's been like just middle of the road against the Giants.
Yeah.
Are you streaming Brock, or are you just leaving him entirely out of your lineup and off your team?
I think he's an okay stream. The Giants
Josh
defense
Dobbs last week had like 30.
I was just gonna say
points.
the Giants defense has been brutal to start the year, and it was okay last year.
Or I should say 20-something, not 30-something. Forgive me for that.
So, yeah, but so far it's been really, really bad. And Purdy's the type of guy that he's gonna need touchdowns to be a good streaming option.
Yeah.
Because he's not someone I don't think he's going to throw for 400 yards. But against the Giants, I could easily see a game where he throws like 250 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns, and they just steamroll.
Yeah,
so
17 and 20-point week.
I think I do think he's exactly. And I because of that, I think he's a good streaming option. That said, he's not like a top 12 quarterback. So if you have a really solid quarterback already, then don't start Brock Purdy. But if you're streaming and you draft a quarterback really late, or if you're like you in our home league and you have Anthony Richardson and he might not play this week, Brock Purdy would be one of the top guys on my list.
Yeah. I think too, when you think about it, like if you're because I know some people, if you have a quarterback that's at the bottom end of that top 12, you might think like, oh well, he has a bad matchup this week. Like, no, just it's not. Don't overcomplicate.
Don't play games.
Yeah. But the only thing that concerns me is that Thursday night game, where it just like we're 2 weeks into the season now. Thursday night football becomes a slog because these guys played on Sunday. 4 days later, they have to play another football game. So it's just it's a lot of different things going on for that, and sometimes there's a lot of underperformance on Thursday night football, which is why Al Michaels sounds like he wants to pull his eyeballs out of his head every Thursday night.
That and he's washed as an announcer.
Yeah. Poor guy. I guess it's so funny how things happen. Like you would think announcing would just be something that you stay good at until you become somebody who's losing their mind. Terry Bradshaw.
Oh,
I used to love listening. I like when I grew up. I loved listening to him.
Yeah, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah, like he was awesome. And now he's just so old that we have no idea what's going on. Pair that with Gronk. No one knows what Gronk is saying.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going on in those shows.
He's actually gotten better, but it's just funny listening to him talk because it's like he's trying to get his thought out, and it's so like sporadic. I'm like, Gronk, what are you doing? Anyway, all right, let's move to the running back position. We have Christian McCaffrey. He's a must start. What do you feel about his ability to perform in this game? What do you expect him to do?
There's no feelings, bro. It's Christian McCaffrey, and it's against the Giants, so it's a good matchup. I feel like he's a lock for 20 points. He had 25 in week 1, 22 this week. Actually, the interesting thing is that surprised me is he had 100% of the snaps this week.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't another running back.
I had McCaffrey as my RB1, but I still projected Elijah Mitchell to have some work in this offense.
Me too.
And McCaffrey still was RB1. If Elijah Mitchell's going to get nothing or like 1 carry, and McCaffrey's getting 23 touches, 25 touches a week, I mean, he might be like the old McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah. Yep, for sure.
The 400-point guy. They 470 points in 2019.
You can't keep giving this man that much work. But
no, you don't want him to get hurt.
Wide receiver position, we have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. Everyone else is kind of just not fantasy.
Suck.
Yeah, suck. They're not good for fantasy, but Ayuk this past week, it actually kind of reversed it. Something weird happened, and I was just gonna kind of like keep it in the back of my mind. But I'll bring it up on the show because they're playing this week. So the snap percentages in week 1 were good for what the heck is going on with my computer? Why is it? Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. I'm trying to like get my numbers up here, and I was on the wrong tab. I was like, why is it not organizing? So Brandon Ayuk, he had this week 51% of the snaps. The week before was not nearly as bad. It was week 1 he had 85%. So I don't know if he got hurt or something happened in this game. It looks like he was questionable to return. Or he's just questionable this week with a shoulder injury. And I don't know what happened. I wish I was able to watch this friggin' game.
I don't know either, but I will say that like I don't think like Deebo and Ayuk are gonna have their weeks. So like in week 1 it was Ayuk. In week 2 it was Deebo. In week 3 it might be George Kittle. it's not going to be a consistent guy. Like they're all talented enough to have their own weeks. So it didn't really surprise me. I kind of expected Debo to have a better week this week. But it could be either guy. They're both worth starting though, because Ayuk didn't have a great week this week, but like week one when Ayuk went crazy, Debo still had 11 fantasy points. So like you're still starting both guys, I think, no matter what.
I just thought it was concerning that Debo.
The snap percentage.
His snap percentage dropped to 50.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he got hurt, because that would make sense. But even if he didn't get hurt, I wouldn't be too concerned because he still had 6 targets, which isn't awful.
Oh yeah. I'm not concerned about it, but I just thought it was a weird stat that you maybe should keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Now for both of these guys, we're starting both, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm in on that. I don't know what to say because, like Rick said, it could be any given week, so I don't know what their game plan is. But usually when one has a bad week, the other has a great week the next week, so I don't know. But
maybe Ayuk goes crazy.
Maybe Ayuk goes crazy on Thursday night. I'm sick and tired of my players being on Thursday night, though. Can we lay off?
No.
So I like both of these guys this week. Think 12 to 15 points would be a good median. And then at the tight end position, finally we have George Kittle. He's been kicking some rocks lately. He's not good.
Yeah.
Great blocker getting targets, but he has 4 and 6 to start the season here. He was on kind of he only had 70% of the snaps in week 1, 96% last week. Are we worried?
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
What's that?
This is George Kittle his whole career. Look at last year when he was finished he was tight end 3 last year and he missed 2 games, right? So he was a top 3 tight end, missed 2 games. So it was really, really good. But go look at his games. He had 3 weeks in a row under 7 points. And then he had 3 weeks in a row with 16, 21, 12. Then he had 3. Then he had 24. Then he had 5 and 4 and 6. Then he had 25 and 30. Like he's just so all over the place. Yeah. Like this is what you get when you draft George Kittle. It's what you sign up for. That's why I like him a little bit more in best ball than I do in redraft, because he's just so inconsistent.
At the end of the season, he has really good numbers, but week to week burns you.
Yeah, but I mean, even last year, like end of the season, he was better. But earlier in the season, he still had big weeks, but he would just have like 2 or 3 weeks in a row where he sucked. So like this is George Kittle. He sucks, and then he'll get 30 points or 25 points. He'll explode for like a multiple touchdown game. So I'm not really worried at all. And I also think this could be the week, especially if Ayuk is banged up against the Giants, which is a good matchup for him. Like this could be the week he gets 25. So I'm not really worried about Kittle, and I'm still starting him.
Okay, fair enough. Let's get our picks now for the game. Who do you think's winning this one?
Did we do our picks last week? We did.
Yeah, I picked.
We both picked the Eagles. No, you picked Minnesota.
I'm 0-2.
Why did you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
So I'm 2-0 and you're 0-2.
Yes,
that's not good, bro.
Currently aligned. Yeah,
I'm picking the 49ers. Sorry, and it's gonna be like
no catching up for me this week.
It's gonna be like 27 to like 14.
I need to get in the win column and stop playing with my heart. So I'm taking the 49ers.
There you go.
I'm not giving you a score. I'm just taking the 49ers. I will bet the under though. That was a good little bet.
Yeah, I probably will too at 48.
Yeah. That's a good line there. All right. There you go. Our Thursday night preview show in the books. Be sure to use this information for your Thursday night football game. We still got starts and sits, buys, and sells this week. Be sure to check those episodes out. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.